morning and welcome to the State of the County Address, the Board of Commissioners regular County Commission meeting. Welcome to Harris Hall. Thank you for being here this morning. We have a few things on our agenda today. The first thing is we will conduct the Pledge of Allegiance. So will you join me in the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Before we begin further, the Lane County Board of Commissioners and Commissioners-elect are present today. I'll also recognize three other elected county officials who are with us today. District Attorney Patty Perlow. Patty. Lane County Sheriff Cliff Harold. And Lane County Tax Assessor Mary Vusic Schaefer. Mary? And I'd also like to mention that a recently departed elected official, Mike Coles, the former assessor, is with us also. Mike Coles, thank you for being here this morning. Fairly short ceremony today. The first item of business, and I'm looking for Mr. Mokrahajski. I usually speak to him at these meetings. There you are. Mr. Mokrahajski, good morning. The first order of business today is the swearing in and the administration of oaths. Today, the Honorable Judge McAlpin, who is the presiding judge of Lane County Circuit Court, will step forward and swear in our two new county commissioners. Your Honor.
This is one of those duties that they don't tell you when you become presiding judge, but it's, unlike the other duties they don't tell you about, is actually a happy one. I'm very happy to be here to swear in essentially our neighbors who stepped forward to take this leadership role in our community. So I'm very happy that I get to do this part. The first commissioner to be sworn in is East Commissioner Position 5, Commissioner Heather Buck. Raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Heather Buck, do solemnly swear that I will carry out the duties of office to the best of my ability. I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of Oregon, the Charter of Lane County, and the laws thereof. And I will faithfully and honorably conduct myself in the office of East Commissioner Position 5, to which I have been elected, so help me God. Congratulations. You'd be surprised that I was the juvenile judge for 4 years. The way, apparently I was still scary. The next commissioner to swear in is Commissioner Ryan Sinnega, who is West Commissioner Position 1. You'll raise your hand and repeat after me. I, Ryan Sinnega, do solemnly swear that I will carry out the duties of office to the best of my ability. I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of Oregon, the Charter of Lane County, and the laws thereof. And I will faithfully and honorably conduct myself in the office of West Commissioner Position 1, to which I've been elected. So help me God. Congratulations. We also have Springfield Commissioner Position 2, Commissioner David Lovell. If you'd raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, David Lovell, do solemnly swear that I will carry out the duties of office to the best of my ability. I will support the Constitution of the United States
I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Oregon,
and the Constitution of the State of Oregon,
the Charter of Lane County,
the Charter of Lane County,
and the laws thereof,
and the laws thereof.
and I will faithfully
And I will faithfully
and honorably
and honorably
conduct myself in the office of Springfield Commissioner, Position 2,
conduct myself in the office of Springfield Commissioner, District 2,
to which I have been elected.
to which I've been elected.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations. We also have the new assessor, Mary Vukshich Schaefer. If you'd raise your right hand, repeat after me. I, Mary Vukshich Schaefer,
I, Mary Buxit Schaefer,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will carry out the duties
that I will carry out the duties
of office to the best of my ability.
of office to the best of my ability.
I will support the Constitution of the United States
I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Oregon,
and the Constitution of the State of Oregon,
the Charter of Lane County,
the Charter of Lane County,
and the laws thereof,
and the laws thereof.
and I will faithfully
And I will faithfully
and honorably
and honorably
conduct myself
conduct myself
in the office of assessor
in the office of assessor
to which I've been elected.
to which I've been elected.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
And then I think we have Justice of the Peace, Richard Brissenden. You would raise your right hand. Swear after me. I, Richard B. Brissenden,
I, Richard B. Brissenden,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will carry out the duties
that I will carry out the duties
of office to the best of my ability.
of office to the best of my abilities.
I will support the Constitution of the United States of America
I will support the Constitution of the United States of America
and the Constitution of the State of Oregon,
and the Constitution of the State of Oregon,
the Charter of Lane County,
the Charter of Lane County,
and the laws thereof.
and the laws thereof.
And I will faithfully
And I will faithfully
and honorably
and honorably
conduct myself in the office
conduct myself in the office
of Justice of the Peace,
of Justice and the Peace,
to which I've been elected.
to which I've been elected.
So help me God.
So help me God.
So thank you very much. I really appreciate being part of this ceremony. I'm now, I think, going to hand it back over to the chair.
Thank you, Your Honor. You know, does anybody know Robert Burns? Robert Burns is a Scottish poet, wrote a lot of poetry, one of my favorites, and I know a lot of his stuff, but this morning one of his lines came to mind. The best laid plans of mice and men gang aft astray. Today, my plans went astray. I left home in order to get here at about 9 o'clock, plenty of time to get ready and to do a run-through of what I'm going to be saying next. But there was a wreck on Beltline Road. Now, how many of you all live in West Eugene? You know what Beltline Road can be on the best of days. And I got stopped at Highway 99. If you know the route, I was about 3 miles from the Delta Highway exit. So I got here late, and I'd like to now introduce my wife, Debbie Farr. Debbie is my mentor, my coach. We're beginning our 50th year together. And throughout those 50 years, Debbie's a stage actress, a wonderful stage actress, has been on the stage here in Eugene and other places quite often. And what she does for me is she coaches me in how to speak and how to say things. And she told me this morning, when you get there, do a run-through. One more time, do a run-through, just so you don't stumble. I didn't have time. I didn't do a run-through, so I guarantee y'all that I am going to stumble, but hopefully not so badly. You know, Lane County is the best county in which we all can live, work, and play. That bold statement is a vision that your Board of Commissioners established 4 years ago as we refined Lane County's strategic plan. And the purpose of that vision, as stated, is to improve lives. So let's ask, what is the state of Lane County? When refining Lane County's strategic plan, we commissioned a survey and we asked people who are not elected officials, not the people who regularly show up for public testimony, and not the people who work for government. But we asked a scientifically selected sampling of the people who live, work, and play here in Lane County. What is the state of Lane County? Now, the first general question was, how do you rank Lane County as a place to live? No surprise. 74%, 75% said, excellent, great place to live. Who can disagree with that? But then, as we dig deeper, we find grave concerns that people share. Here are the first among all things that people want to talk about. When we asked, what is your biggest concern in Lane County? Overwhelmingly, 67%, 2/3 of you said homelessness. When asked, is it easy to find an affordable place to live in Lane County, almost the same number said no. As I reflect over the past year, taking stock of Lane County's accomplishments, I think about our stated mission. How closely are we adhering to it? Are we making a difference in people's lives? Our mission is to responsibly manage available resources to deliver vital community-centered services with passion, drive, and focus. Our purpose of this mission is to improve the lives of all who reside in Lane County. This may sound like a tall order, and it is. To help us make this somewhat audacious mission a reality, we have a strategic plan in place to keep us on track and to make sure that everyone who works for the Lane County as a staff member or as a contractor is on the same page. Working hard to use those valuable resources to be as effective and as helpful as possible. Now, Lane County provides a really broad range of services, from land management to road maintenance to public health, economic development, and to public safety. And it's all important, essential work as we focus on improving lives. But today, in no small part based upon input we've received and that I continually receive, I'm thinking about those among us who are the most vulnerable, and thereby make all we do and experience in our daily lives feel vulnerable. Those among us who seem to be in the most urgent need of services, how Lane County is going to try to improve these lives. You know, every day we see these people on the street corners, sometimes in the middle of the street, or in tents, camping in cars or parked on the side of the road. People who are suffering from mental health issues or from addiction, and sometimes find themselves at the critical intersection of behavioral health and criminal justice. It often looks like nothing's being done to help, but Lane County is working strategically to focus our efforts to help improve their lives, and by improving their lives, improving all of our living experience in Lane County. We're working to help homeless individuals, helping people avoid homelessness in the first place, and even when their actions land them in jail, we're working on innovative programs and responses to help them find stability. We have a little video to watch right now. Part of my run-through would have been saying, when does the video start?
Over the last year, Lane County has invested in a number of housing options for individuals who are at the intersection of behavioral health and homelessness. This includes a 45-unit permanent supportive housing development called the NEL, which was opened in partnership with Homes for Good. It includes a 12-bed emergency shelter at the Schenkel Brooklyn Street Shelter in Glenwood, and a 75-bed shelter and navigation center in the River Road area. All of these options in our community are for individuals who have experienced chronic homelessness and who really need services and support in order to achieve permanent housing. And there is a subset of individuals where even those options aren't enough. So we have invested more in residential housing and will continue to do so over the next year. That offers treatment facilities for individuals with serious and persistent mental illness within our community so that they can become well and able to pursue permanent housing. In addition, we're doing strategic work to plan for a crisis and stabilization center, which will be an option in our community to help those in behavioral health crisis. More of a prevention mechanism so that we're not waiting for individuals to become disabled due to their behavioral health condition and become homeless, but we're treating them earlier in the process. All of these investments represent important opportunities for those individuals experiencing homelessness and behavioral health crisis in our community. Though we know it's not enough, we will continue this work in the coming years. What
What we know is that our community is struggling. The pandemic hit our most vulnerable community members the hardest. And since the pandemic began, Lane County and our partner nonprofits have shown up to provide 6,700 households with rent relief. And in over just the last year, 8,400 households received access to utility assistance to ensure that they are safe and stably and warmly housed. It's incredibly important that our county does something, that we don't just talk about what we do, but that we engage with our internal and our external partners to really show up in community where we're most needed. And that is through access to funding, to programs, and to other services to ensure that the whole person is served and able to thrive. Another key element of creating vibrant communities where everyone can thrive is to ensure that everyone has access to safe, affordable housing. And in our community, in 2020, our commissioners adopted the Affordable Housing Action Plan to do just that. We know we need to create more front doors across the housing continuum across Lane County. And in 2023, you'll see us showing up with our internal and external partners to think about the long-term creative solutions that we can increase the supply of affordable housing throughout our community.
The Lane County Jail, like other jails in our state and nation, have really become by default a significant provider of mental health services to the population. In Lane County, we've watched this trend as it's developed really over the last decade. And seeing that, we've made some significant investments in order to better manage the people who are in our custody that are struggling from behavioral health and mental health problems. We've contracted for additional trained mental health staff through our medical provider, and we've created a position within our office, which we call the mental health sergeant, who works hand in hand with those contracted mental health specialists within our jail. They keep an eye on the population of the jail, making sure to find those folks who are in our custody that would benefit from a more specialized management plan. And then we've initiated what's really a groundbreaking wellness program within our facility. When we identify folks who would benefit from participation in the wellness program, they're moved to specialized housing, which is really the best housing area in the jail. They have the most natural light. They're brought out of their cells much more frequently in order to engage in group activities, oftentimes led by one of the contracted mental health staff members from our medical provider. And during these activities, they participate in an education program that we believe gets them on the path towards better well-being even once they're not in our custody. This program is really innovative and it's been recognized as such. In fact, our crew was invited to go present at the National Commission on Correctional Healthcare in Denver, Colorado in August of 22. And it's been recognized as a best practice. And in fact, our jail commander, Clint Riley, was recognized as jail commander of the year in the state of Oregon in large part because of some of this innovation, which is really new to a correctional environment. You're taking folks who typically do not demonstrate good behavior and you're actually giving them more time out of their cell and more staff time and more privileges. And so that's pretty contrary to a more traditional corrections approach where bad behavior usually means less time out of your cell. But what's really great is we're getting to see that oftentimes we really are getting some good results. And within the jail, we have staff members who are probably pretty suspicious of the effort, who have come around to recognize that there's these individuals that they've known their whole career because they've been in and out of the jail, typically causing staff confrontation and additional work. And we're putting them in this program and they're recognizing that the behavior is completely different. And in fact, sometimes even that this person is now a leader within these groups.
You know, it's amazing how people working in different buildings, different shifts, different times of the day, all pull together to help everybody in Lane County by providing stability to those who are the most vulnerable among us. The kind of stability that many of us take for granted. The stability of getting up in the morning and having a warm breakfast. The stability of being able to put our kids safely to bed at night. It is a heavy lift, but together we can carry the load. We can carry the load and help people in Lane County find stability that helps everybody in Lane County live a better life. Thank you, Mr. Moyer. You know, when you close your eyes and you think of the inside of the jail, is that what you see? Not at all. And for many of us who have not visited the jail, it's a good opportunity to step forward and take a look at how Sheriff Harold Chief Wilkerson and Captain Riley are managing the jail in a way that we really take care of lives. Now, before I go on with a few more things that I have to say, I'm going to let other commissioners speak. You've met the three commissioners, including Commissioner Buck, Commissioner Lovell, and Commissioner Senega. You've not met yet Commissioner Trieger, the fifth commissioner who's not been introduced yet. You've heard me speak, you've seen everybody get sworn in. So I'm going to ask Commissioner Trieger, Vice Chair Trieger, to step to the mic, will be followed by Commissioner Buck, followed by Commissioner Senega, and wrapped up by Commissioner Lovell. So, Vice Chair Trieger, thank you very much. I decided to put this in the middle of the speech to give it greater impact. Not really. You saw Diana pull me over there a few minutes ago. She said, shh, you forgot something. Vice Chair Trieger.
Thank you, Chair Farr. I'll be brief. I want to leave time for our new commissioners, but I will say it's an honor to be here. This is my first in-person State of the County. I took office 2 years ago, almost to the day, in the midst of the pandemic, and even last year it wasn't safe enough for us to all gather in person in a large group. So welcome, everyone. Happy New Year. I'm very excited for the work ahead. I'm excited to build a collegial working relationship with our new commissioners and continue the good work that Commissioners Buck and Commissioner Farr and I have been able to do together these last 2 years. So again, Happy New Year, welcome, and thank you so much for the honor to serve.
Thank you, Vice Chair Trieger. Next, I'll ask Commissioner Buck to step forward. Is it okay to leave Addie back there?
You want to come with me? After 4 years, she's used to being around me here in Harris Hall. Thank you for all coming out today. As Commissioner Trieger has said, it's been 4 years since we've done this in person, and it's much more fun with all of you present. As commissioner, you're elected to represent a district, which I have done to the best of my ability, and I'm so honored to do for another term. Lane County and District 5 have been through a lot in the last 4 years. When I came, it was a very different world. It was pre-pandemic and pre-megafire. We now live in a very changed world. When you come into this job, you never know what you're going to deal with. You have many issues and ideas and things you want to work on, but that may not be all the future has in store for you. You must be ready for anything and everything. After all, that's what you signed up for. It may be something that no one could have ever thought of that would actually happen. As we know, the unknown happens. For those that step up in these critical moments, it's noticeable and impactful. I'm so fortunate to work alongside so many people of immense character here at Lane County, especially when the county needs it the most. As we emerge on the other side of major global, state, and local events, it's essential for the Lane County to have the collaboration of all of its commissioners and the state to move things forward. We need to express the county needs clearly and concisely in a straightforward manner to bring things together. The resources needed in Lane County and East Lane that came from COVID are drying up. Yet the gross effects of poverty in rural districts persist. In my work in recovery from the Holiday Farm fire, it has been laid bare for all to see. Even with all the supports that the county and the state could provide in fire response, it doesn't eradicate the systemic barriers and burdens of substandard and scarce housing, lack of adequate healthcare, economic stagnation or decline, higher crime, and low employment. It creates a self-perpetuating cycle for rural, poor areas. There are ways to address the needs, and I've learned over time that it requires tailoring those needs for systems and programs for each individual community. Though they all may share the definition of rural, they're all very unique. In this next term, I will continue to work on the recovery upriver, increasing housing opportunities countywide, improving our rural health care, expanding childcare and workforce opportunities, as well as enhancing public safety. I'm also really excited to continue to implement our Affordable Housing Action Plan, opening our first federally qualified healthcare center in a rural community, finalizing the Mental Health Stabilization Center and the mixed-use waste processing facility. There's been a really exciting election, and there's a lot of changing faces here locally, at the state level, and at the federal level. I look forward to working with my new colleagues, as well as our new governor and her administration, and our new Congresswoman, Val Hoyle. It will indeed take all of us in order to bring together resources and policy for the needs of Lane County today. Finally, I want to thank my family, my daughter who's here with me today, who gets to come out of school for a little bit to do this with me, my husband who's currently at sea, my mother who I couldn't do any of this without, and my father who's traveling. I know that they are so impacted by not only going through a full campaign, but also with the day-to-day impact of just being a commissioner. Thank you to all the voters of District 5, for all of those who supported me during my campaign, and the deep, deep friendships along the way. The job as your commissioner is really what you make of it, on both sunny days and in the midst of the most challenging days. It's important for me to move swiftly and effectively wherever possible, while responding through the hardest of times with dignity and grace on behalf of the residents of Lane County. Thank you.
Thank you, Addie. Oh, and you too, Commissioner Budd. Next, I'd like to call on Commissioner, not Commissioner-elect, but Commissioner Ryan Seneca.
Well, this is very, very exciting for me, my family, all of us here. I was in the office early this morning. We had to do some HR work. Sorry, Diana. And I was kind of laughing because I was thinking, how many times has Brandy gone off to bed while I'm sitting there working on a speech, running through it in my head, going back over it, just for a couple of minutes before I go up there to decide to do something completely different. But we'll see how this goes. It's so moving to have the constituents of West Lane put their faith and their trust in you. I ran on public safety, fiscal responsibility, being reachable. If you call, I'm going to answer. And that's what I'm going to continue to run on. Those are the things I'm passionate about. It is so humbling having volunteers willing to help you through this campaign. You've got people waving signs on River Road all day long. I'm going to and from events with your name on them. You have people out putting signs all over West Lane. It's a big district with your name on them. That kind of stuff is really hard for someone that is new to this world to understand. I hear it daily from my daughters now. Well, you're a politician, so. But in a sense, it is true. I'm an optimist by nature. And when that's your default setting, when you're heading down a journey or down this path, you don't always realize the repercussion on the people you're taking with you, the closest to you. My amazing wife, Brandy, high school sweetheart, my 2 daughters, Faye and Emmy. It's been an amazing journey, and you guys have been the foundation of this journey. This could have never happened without you guys. I've got a bunch of family here. I'll start with mom and dad. They were part of those volunteers. I got a call from one of the gals, and she goes, "Your mom is the funniest." We give them a script. "Hello, I'm a volunteer for Ryan Senega's campaign." "Hello, this is Susie. I'm Ryan Senega's mom." She never said anything, but I'm guessing somewhere in there she realized that not everyone's as big of a fan. But really, this onboarding has just been amazing. One thing I've learned driving all over West Lane, going to every Grange, every little house that would invite me in, places of business, the residents are proud of where they live. They love this county. The employees that I have met here that have helped us get started, absolutely incredible. You look around at all the tools, all the equipment we have here at the county, there's a lot of potential here. We have some improvements we can make, and we're gonna work on those improvements, and we're not gonna stop until Lane is the bookmark county that everybody else wants to reach. Thanks a lot.
Next, I'll call on Councillor, not Councillor-elect, David Laval, who will be followed by our newly elected assessor, Mary Vucic-Schaefer. Thank you. David.
Wow. You have to pinch yourself sometimes to realize where you are, you know what I mean? I want to thank first my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. Without him, I wouldn't be here. I want to thank my wife, Nita, my daughter, Michaela, and Garrett, who are sitting in the front row, my family. I want to thank Jeremy, Jake, Betsy, a handful of Steves, Mitch, Paul, the crack door knocking team, and those who supported, prayed, and encouraged, and gave me their time. You know, time is something you can never give back to people. They give you a slice of their life for your cause, and I appreciate that from the bottom of my heart. It's something I can never repay. Thank you to the Springfield Realtors Association, the dedicated workers of Union 626, countless small business owners, private citizens, and whom I stood on their porch and listened, and to many significant employers and leaders of our community who were generous and focused to the task at hand, getting me here. Here to be a trusted representative for what the people of Springfield and the greater Lane County value. Also to my high school buddy, whom never voted before until this election. He so aptly recognized now more than ever, government isn't a provider of everything, but a servant by the will of an engaged people whose voices are heard and respected. He voted for the first time in his life, 61 years old, for a single candidate and then folded his ballot. He, like 98 others, made the difference. Don't ever say your vote doesn't matter. Under my watch, people will once again have an elected official who recognizes one bedrock truth. I work for you. I work for you, all of humanity, and I work for all of humanity, which is the cause of which I serve. I don't serve a device cause of race, not gender, not ideologies, not party, not anything to do with other than humanity, but doing what is right for the right reasons, for the right results. If there's one pillar principle I've learned around the world is this: we can't simply write checks to solve problems. Throwing more money into a lane going nowhere gets us to the same destination. It takes a leader who isn't afraid of making tough decisions for us to admit maybe we made a mistake and we should go a different direction. It takes one who's been a worker in toxic charity situations around the world to rally others into the visions that we need people relationships, not simply money. We need to bring out-of-the-box solutions to our local issues. It's what I call skin in the game. It's what you can expect from me, and frankly, it's what I'm going to expect from you. My number one priority is public safety. We need to bring revenue back into our county in every way possible. I will push the government to keep its word to our timber industry and its oath to fund what they request us to do. As we face uncertain times around the globe, Lane County must be nimble, competitive, and do all we can to attract employers and builders, entrepreneurial enterprises, and innovations that partner with government. And we must ask for measurable results from our programs so we taxpayers can feel like we're getting something for our collective sacrifice. I will work to poke holes, serious holes, in the barriers we face without apology, and hopefully with a sharpened tact. But what's closest to my heart is mental health. Nita and I's son, William, needlessly suffered and died this past June as a pawn in the broken health system of Lane County. If I do nothing else in this office, I will not let him down. I will fight for him and many others in this looming crisis that impacts us all. Yeah, I got a fire in my gut, all right. So I'm going to ask for some grace on how I might be perceived. This quote from Thomas Jefferson resonates deep within me. Timid men prefer the calm of disposition to the boisterous seas of liberty. I ask for a chance to earn your trust and to work to solve the problems we face. So buckle up, Lane County. There's a storm coming. And this commission that we have before you and its fine leaders in the county, we will not be timid. My name is David Lovell, and I'm the County Commissioner for Springfield.
Thank you, Commissioner Lovell. And now, Mary, I'm going to pronounce your name the third different way today. And now our newly elected assessor, Mary Vucic Schaefer. How'd I do?
You did well. We'll keep working on it. Hi, wow. This is, I'm just going to take a minute to take this all in. I'm honored to be here. I'm going to make this quick. And I'm following three very seasoned politicians. So I'm honored to be here. I'm grateful to my family for supporting me during the election, my friends, my coworkers, and my new colleagues. Thank you for entrusting me with not one district, but 85. So I understand the job I have begged for, and I look forward to this change and this opportunity. We serve 85 taxing districts. We value property, assess, and collect taxes, and then we distribute that money to the districts, and Lane County is one of those districts that we serve. So I'm happy to be here. Thank you for entrusting me with this responsibility, and have a great day. Thank you.
Thank you. And the last elected official I'll call forward is a person who is the most important person on earth when you are before him. To our newly re-elected Justice of the Peace, Richard Bressenden.
I didn't know I'd be doing this, but surprises are not unusual to me in my job. I'm very honored to have been reelected as Lane County's Justice of the Peace. I like my job. I just want to promise to all those who voted for me and all those who didn't vote for me, but who voted for Donald Duck, which was what I call all the write-ins. But this is what I do at court. I listen to people. That's what I do. I listen to people, I hear them out, whether they have a good argument or they don't have a good argument, it doesn't matter. Being a judge has been kind of frustrating in the last few years because there was a period of time when I couldn't do my job, what I consider my job. I couldn't sit on the bench. I couldn't see people. Then there was the period after that where I could only see half of them. Being a judge in a court is communicating with people, seeing people like I'm seeing you now, talking to them, hearing from them, they hear from me. I may be old-fashioned, that just may not be the way things go, but as long as I'm doing the job you elected me to, that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna do it in person, and I'm gonna talk to people and hear them out and do the best job I can to make the best decisions I can. Thank you.
Thank you, and thank you for taking a few minutes to say each one of you said very important words. I hope we listened to them all. I took mental note of everything. There's one thing that one person did say that I took exception to, and that is Commissioner Seneca. You're not going to be welcome in my office. And the reason is you called yourself a politician. And when we were in front of St. Patrick's Cathedral earlier this year in Dublin, I bought a sign that said, "No politicians and no junk mail." So stay away. No, that's. So one other person I'd really love to introduce at this point is an old favorite of mine. I've been listening to Paul Biondi for so many years in so many different venues. Paul, you bring light, you bring music, you bring joy every place you go. Thank you for being here today, Paul.
Thanks for the invite, and happy 2023 to everybody. And this is Gus Russell, one of our finest local musicians I get a chance to work with. Gus Russell.
And now I have about 12 and a half more minutes to go. So put up with me, but it should be pretty good. But you're gonna have to put up with me not having read through it, so I might stumble a little bit. 50 years? Oh my gosh, Debbie, 50 years, that's half a century. Thank you. You know, the stability that we're looking for across the broad range of services in Lane County depends on working efficiently on the same page, working closely to ensure that all of the resources we have here or are given are used effectively and judiciously. We need to work together as Lane County employees. We need to work closely with the cities, school districts, fire districts, utilities, and other special districts. We need to work closer than ever with our committed and innovative business partners and our nonprofits to make sure we are not wasting time, energy, money, or goods while providing the highest possible level of services. As a government, we need to recognize the valuable contributions the people who work here in the county provide. A couple of years ago, a Lane County employee stopped me in the hallway and said, "I wish that all of your constituents in the county knew how good our people are." I'm gonna let you reflect on that for a second, how good our people are. As you look across the board, the people who are represented, the people who are not represented, the administration, across the board, Lane County is blessed by truly dedicated and talented individuals. How good our people really are. With that simple statement, she summed up all that I believe and all that all of us should believe. In the past year, we said goodbye to a number of our longtime employees, people who worked here for a lot of years. I'm only going to mention a couple. The first one I'd like to call in is Karen Gaffney, who recently retired as a Health and Human Services Director. Karen worked her entire career, basically, for Lane County. Every job you had was right here in Lane County, Karen. Thank you so much for all you've done. And next, 27 years ago, when I began my service on the Lane County Human Services Commission, more than a quarter of a century ago, I met a young man with a shock of curly black hair. Through his dedication and understanding of human services, this young man made a lifetime impression on me. Little did I know at the time that he and I would spend a lifetime working together. This year, Steve Manella, who I don't see in the room with us, but Steve Manella, retired after more than 35 years of service to Lane County, and to the people who live here. Steve Manella, thank you so much. The people who work here in Lane County are serving as a labor of love. Daily, they demonstrate the love and caring for the people we serve that is universal throughout this organization. As a government, we need to recognize the tremendous and unique asset we have and the contribution of the network of nonprofit agencies that make Lane County unique in its ability to deliver services. I'm going to talk about one of such agencies. We have a broad array of agencies, but I'm going to talk about Carry It Forward for just a moment. Carry It Forward is a smaller agency that has recently grown to providing a deeper level of services. In 2019, Oren Master Spain, who is the founding director of Carry It Forward, came to me, and she was in tears, and was standing outside of a homeless camp. It was a sanctioned homeless camp out on Highway 99, and she said to me, "I live in the fractured core of the homelessness and poverty crisis." Now, Oren Master Spain at the time was going into these homeless camps, and she was taking soiled bedding, soiled clothing, taking it to her home and washing it, cleaning it in her garage, folding it, sorting it, and taking it back to its original owners. Now, here in Lane County, we recognize the work that she was doing. That was a tireless work, and she had a full-time job at the same time. And since then, we stepped forward and we have given Carry It Forward a place to actually fold and sort the laundry that is cleaned. And they're carrying a much larger mission today. Carry It Forward, along with all the other nonprofits in Lane County, too many to list, help bring us at Lane County a step closer toward being the best county to live, work, and play. As a government, we need to work ever more closely with the cities inside Lane County. We must continue to consolidate our resources and work together not to squander, a single moment of time or ounce of service to get the maximum impact from our efforts. I've spoken much about the greatest needs that we as individuals and that we as a county have. Lane County made great advances in this past year on the broad array of services we provide. In 2022, we began to return to more like business as usual. During the months and years following the global shutdown of the COVID-19 pandemic, we learned to do things differently. In March of 2020, how many of us had ever heard of Zoom meetings? Nah, I didn't think so. Now, how many of us have not had a Zoom meeting in the last 2 weeks? None, once again. We've come to accept that. We've come to not have to leave one meeting early in order to get to the next meeting late. It's helped us to become more efficient. As we continue to recover from the effects of the global COVID-19 pandemic, in 2022, Lane County and our partner nonprofits distributed more than $11.5 million in rent relief funding. Since the beginning of the pandemic, we've served 6,707 households with a total of more than $45 million in rent relief. Between February 2021 and October 2022, we conducted 689 COVID community clinics, 139 of those in partnership with community organizations, local businesses, and other community groups. In addition, our two-person field team delivered over 1,300 in-home vaccinations. And post-COVID, as we recover from the Holiday Farm fire, we're finding ways to rewrite how we create housing in rural areas. Over 500 residences were lost during the fire, and Lane County is helping rebuild the burn area. Now, during this period of time, we've learned how important our emergency management system is, and we've evolved. We've evolved to become a nationally recognized leader in forming partnerships in response to broad ranges of emergencies and natural disasters. And pardon me while I go through a litany of the accomplishments of our emergency management over the past year. In the past year, we activated the Emergency Operations Center, either virtually or in person, 11 times. Events range from an atmospheric river and a distant tsunami in January to special events early in the summer, to evacuations, mass care, public safety, power shutoffs, support during the Cedar Creek fire in September, all building up to what we all see on the horizon, potentially a subduction earthquake, which would cause massive disruption. We've also secured 50 iPads to collect data in the field. We provided EOC staffing for special events, including the Lane County Fair, the World Athletic Championships, and the 2022 elections. Our Emergency Operations Department has facilitated 3 tabletop exercises with partner agencies. the teamwork I'm talking about, and conducted a Cascadia Rising subduction earthquake functional exercise for over 60 trained county staff. We've participated in the Integrated Emergency Management course, a community-specific course for over 60 partners around Lane County to include representatives from water districts, utilities, the university, hospitals, law enforcement, fire, and other partner cities. With all of the effective emergency and pandemic duties spreading staff thin and adding to workloads in unprecedented ways, Lane County was able to move the ball uphill across a broad range of our departments. In facilities and capital improvement, we facilitated and coordinated access of MLK and Subaru campuses during the World Athletic Championships, Oregon 2022. Our parole and probation settled into their new building at 2699 Roosevelt Boulevard. This building is a welcoming, trauma-informed office environment that lends to positive outcomes that improve the quality of the client lives. We've completed the construction of the DD Center, the Developmental Disability Services Building on the MLK campus. We've completed renovations of the Navigation Center located at 100 River Avenue, and we've completed renovations of the Schenkel Brooklyn Street building. In our district attorney's office, death investigations are on track to reach yet a record number by the end of the year at well more than 1,500. That number is driven by suicide, motor vehicle crashes, and homicides. Through October, the DA's office received nearly 4,000 cases referred by law enforcement for intake. An example is that through November 2022, we received 166 cases that allege unlawful use of a weapon. In Health and Human Services, hard to narrow this down, but in Health and Human Services, in response to the Cedar Creek fire, we once again set up the fairgrounds to provide direct support to refugees, including transport, care and feeding, lodging, clinical connections, etc. In the face of fatigue, staffing shortages, new highlights in Lane County Human Services include a specific mobile testing and vaccination teams for homebound persons, for rural sites, and for Spanish-speaking persons. Monkeypox response, remember that? Remember how frightening that was? Well, Lane County Health and Human Services was on top of that. We led the clinical community in training to identify monkeypox, as well as leading roles in case investigation, antiviral treatment, and vaccination. And we're preparing to open our 7th community health clinic, this one in Cottage Grove. Our community health clinics, we have 6, soon to be 7, in the past fiscal year served 25,740 different patients, with a total of more than 169,000 encounters with these patients in our community health centers. Lane County Behavioral Health is working to address issues at the critical intersection of criminal justice and behavioral health. LCBH has partnered with housing providers to develop and expand residential capacity in the community. So far, though awards and contracts are still in the works, we anticipate an additional 70 to 80 beds between now and spring. These are much needed to help address the ever-increasing number of clients who end up in the criminal justice system. Our forensic investigations team, our FIT team program, has served over 70 clients since its inception in 2020. This team is an outreach-based team whose primary goal is to build relationships with clients who live in the field and eventually engage them in the services. These clients are often those who are not engaged and are very mistrustful of government systems, including the mental health system. The team is funded through the years by Impact Grant, and the grant was just renewed for another 2 years. In developmental disability services, they have a new home. They moved into the building on the MLK campus and at the same time increased full-time equivalents from 127 to 146 individuals serving those among us with developmental disabilities. They've also expanded outreach and service providers to ensure quality and equity of service delivery across the county. In the Lane County Human Services Department, which includes the Human Services Commission and our unique Poverty and Homelessness Board, continuing to lead the state in its approach. This last year, we opened 3 new housing complexes: the Navigation Center, a 72-bed low-barrier shelter in partnership with the City of Eugene, the Schenkel Brooklyn Center for chronically homeless individuals, and the Nell in partnership with Homes for Good, resulting in an additional 132 beds that came online over the last year. Lane County is particularly responsive to and adept at providing veteran services. Now, I'm going to take this time. I always do this. I like to do this. Can any veterans in the room please stand up? Thank you for your service. We're on track to file nearly 1,000 claims for VA benefits in 2022, a 22% increase from 2021 and 2021. In federal year fiscal 2021, which ended in June of 2022, direct Veterans Administration benefits to Lane County total $179,422,000, nearly $30 million more than Multnomah and Washington counties. In Lane County Public Health, we celebrated our 100th year of public health. Between February 2021 and October 2022, we conducted 689 COVID community clinics, 139 of those in partnership with others. In addition, our two-person field team, as I said before, delivered over 1,300 in-home vaccinations. If I'd read through this, I'd have skipped that paragraph, sorry. This year marks 10 years of innovative upstream prevention programs provided in collaboration with our CCOs in support of Community Health Improvement Plan, including, I'm just going to name one, quitting tobacco in pregnancy, through which the rates of tobacco use in the third trimester have declined more in Lane County than in the state overall. In human resources, we continue to recruit and hire diverse, responsive staff. As we work to attract and retain talented Lane County staff, Lane County Human Resources has formed a new partnership with the University of Oregon to build a possible career path for hard-to-fill positions that includes paid internships for more students. The program is designed to recruit and ultimately retain students of color as permanent Lane County staff. In 2022, we learned that Lane County was once again named the #1 healthiest large employer in Lane County by the Portland Business Review Journal. In public works, now just in case you might be worried what happens to your trash when you put it in the garbage can and they haul it away, well, this year we completed a 2-year construction of Cell 6 of the Short Mountain landfill, which is a 17-acre landfill cell that's going to last us for at least 15 more years. Then, this is big. Thanks to Lane County voters, the Parks Division secured financial support from the passage of a local levy that will generate $6 million annually over the next 5 years. The levy will fund $5 million in special projects around the county, and $25 million will be used to invest in the existing parks to fix critical maintenance issues, enhance the existing assets, and create a better park experience for all Lane County residents. Lane County Animal Services provided rapid response during Cedar Creek fire evacuation to provide shelter for over 140 domestic and livestock animals, a feat that they repeated after the Holiday Farm fire. Now, the Sheriff's Office, save the best for last, save the perhaps the most impactful for last, has 2 main divisions, Corrections and Police Services. In Corrections, Lane County Jail, as you heard from Sheriff Harold, is the largest mental health facility in Lane County. Jail staff are working closely with public health as we continue to navigate COVID protocols in a correctional setting. We were able to bring back in-person social visiting and volunteer programs such as church services, Bible study, Narcotics Anonymous, Alcoholics Anonymous, etc. The Lane County Jail screened and referred over 2,500 adults in custody, AICs, for review of medically assisted therapy, MAT services, for mental health and substance disorders. We expanded our wellness program in the facility that's designed to help adults in custody to prepare for a successful return to their lives. The jail captain expanded the number of spots from 32 to 56, including females, and they continue to receive both group and one-on-one therapy as well as yoga. We continue working toward the introduction of tablets for all AICs in custody. The tablets will bring services that include medical, mental health, contact with family, and ways to keep the AICs in contact with the outside world as they prepare to go back. In corrections, we hired and trained 17 new deputies in 2022. In police services in 2022, we acquired funding for 8 additional full-time equivalents that was provided by the Board of County Commissioners. Half of the positions were filled by hiring 4 certified police officers from our community who brought over 40 years of combined police experience. The remaining 4 positions were filled by training existing deputies who were in corrections to work as patrol deputies. During a disaster this past summer, The Sheriff's Department became the lead agency. During any disaster, the Sheriff's Department will become the lead agency and conduct all of the operations as we work our way through disasters. The Cedar Creek fire resulted in the need to evacuate the community of Oak Ridge. The Sheriff's Office worked with our various partners to efficiently conduct the evacuation. The Sheriff's Search and Rescue Team utilized a new system that immediately transmitted evacuation data collected in the field directly to the Eugene and Lane County Emergency Operations Center. Now, as we plan this coming year, knowing now so many things that we didn't know 4 years ago, or even 1 year ago, we must judiciously work with our own people, with our nonprofits, with the business community, and with our cities and other jurisdictions to maximize how we provide the services we know we can do better at. John Locke said, "Do not let the things you don't have prevent you from using what you do have." In this new year and beyond, with a new Board of Commissioners striving to find a balance that many never dreamed possible, we must make the most of what we have and leverage the things we need in order to make Lane County the best county to live, work, and play. Thank you. Now, at this point, all I have to do is pound this gavel and we can all go home. But I'll mention there are refreshments available. And can somebody tell me where they are? Outside in the hallway. I can see them from here. So please join us as we listen to Paul Biondi. Thank you, Paul, once again for being here. And this meeting is adjourned.